What's up, people? My name is Ankit Dwal. Welcome to Mountwood Studio Show. Do you know how to run a design business successfully? No? I can teach you. Stay tuned because what's coming next can change your entire life.
Today we are having a very special guest on our show. Well, he needs no introduction as the whole India knows him. He is none other than Mr. Nitin Kulkarni. If we talk about his experience, we can spend our entire day talking about that and what we can learn from him. Thank you, Mr. Nitin. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much. I am really uh, honored to be here because
It's
I,
my
I
pl-
was,
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you on our show. And like we share a common system that is design. We share the common thinking. So this is the reason that I wanted you to be in our show, and because of your experience and where you have reached, it's like people dream of that. And I will be more interested in knowing you personally, as well as the experience and how you have reached over here. So this will be the main session about what we will be doing and talking. Okay. So it's not a
sure.
appropriate question to ask because you're a huge personality and you are in a position that this is not a perfect question for you, but just for the formality, let's start with a brief introduction of yourself.
Yeah. To be frank, I am not that huge. I still consider myself as humble, learner
Mhm,
in the field of creativity, art, and design,
mhm,
and that's how I think that's how I have reached here conventionally. There are two things in life. One is your own spiritual being,
mhm,
your own understanding about the world, your entire experience about the world, and how you're living your life. That is one part. And other part is your professional life, which is where you have to take up greater responsibilities and you have to function in professional life. So professionally, maybe I have reached till here, but that is all due to my life experiences, the way I took them. So basically, to begin with, I am a fine artist by profession and by learning. Uh, I graduated from JJ School of Arts in 1988, and since then, my entire journey started. This journey was about creativity, discovery, and ultimately design and education. Uh, so I will give you just some brief about how exactly it began. It began uh, from go with the flow, and go with the flow is, I think, one of my biggest uh, source of what to say, source of inspiration and way of living life, because I was a highly emotional person, and I realized my emotion, that my sense of emotion, quite early as a child, and a strong sense of visual was there. A strong sense of visual was there. A strong sense of expression was there, and so and every time I realized that different people who came in my life, including some of my family members, uh, they actually realized a certain strength in me, and I just went by their word, because one of my aunts said that, he is very good in art, so why don't you? She was telling my father, why don't you put him in JJ School of Art? So we were hardly knowing anything about such careers which were available during that time. Uh, and that my journey started. I entered in JJ School of Art, and first year itself I was first class first, and I used to be referred as one of the uh, upcoming artists during that time. And I was fortunate enough to get even those kind of teachers. My teachers were Prabhakar Kolte. He's an eminent artist of India, and Kashinath Salve was another artist. Uh, and later on, I came across Mr. Prabhakar Barve. He's also eminent Indian artist. And though he passed away early in his life, so I could not get his entire guidance till now. But whatever, around say 10 years, I was in contact with him. I did my entire dissertation on his entire art. And his art and his way of living, I think, inspired me a lot to come on this path of go with the flow and believe in the people who are around you, believe in their perception about you, and that's how I completed my graduation. Then I did exhibitions, uh, several exhibitions I did. After that, I started working as a designer with one of the organization, and I set up the entire studio for them. This was a very interesting experience because applying your knowledge, which was coming from fine arts, into a design field. It was about accessories, creating tabletop accessories, and there was a new material which was invented that time, new wood. New wood was very new that time, and working with this new material and how to set up that entire assembly line. So I had set up that entire assembly line, and that was the greatest experience. And during the same time, I got opportunity to teach uh, in architecture. So people say that you should learn to say no, but I really don't understand that concept, especially for people like me who would like to be explorers uh, and navigate as per your exploration is giving you certain kind of insights. So for me, I have said yes to anything and everything during that particular point of time, and
Okay.
not out of compulsion. It used to be like the kind of people were around me. They knew me, and I believed in them. So whatever they're saying, this must be true. So one of my teacher, the Kasinath Salve, said that there is an opportunity to teach. And during that time, I had started teaching here and there. I started taking some tuition classes, and I started realizing that one of the biggest strength which I have is communication. I can communicate my feelings to anybody very, very pertinently, very aptly, which people usually cannot do. So I can also use language very well. And I can use the language of gestures very well, expressions very well. And because my students used to look up to me, and that's why though my English speaking was not that great in those initial days, but I realized that people are not looking for language; they're looking for the communication. They're looking for the content, and I can deliver the content. So then this one of my teachers said that there is opportunity in NIFT.
Okay.
So would you, National Institute of Fashion Technology, will you be interested in teaching there? And before that, I had already started teaching in architecture. So just imagine uh, a graduate who is a fine art graduate being called by Architecture Institute and asked to teach, obviously, drawing and illustration, but the entire application used to be very different. The kind of drawing and the kind of art which we produce in fine art is up to that individual artist, what he wants to communicate, what he wants to express. Whereas in architecture, it is more to do with form, it's more to do with material, it's more to do with how you create that design. So this aspect of functional design entered when I started teaching in architecture, and I started realizing that art, learning art, is such a vital thing that it opens up so many doors for so many different avenues and so many different areas of life, and architecture was one of them. And later on, obviously fashion came into play, and first I wondered, what will I do in fashion, because I don't have any kind of understanding about that. But after seeing the content of the curriculum, I was supposed to teach anatomy, human anatomy, and I've taken up that challenge because I was not very great in human anatomy when I was a student. But then I started relearning. I started learning again, uh, bought some books. During that time, there was no internet. So sitting in the library, studying on the subject, and I started enjoying this whole world of design after that, because the world of design actually gives you challenge that you don't have to only create a fabulous visual, but that visual also has to have appeal that the person will be willing to put in some money to buy that. So how you can convert that desire, how you can create that desire in a customer's mind, that aspect became very important for me to understand. And then I parallelly, as to tell you that as I said yes to anything, one of my friends said that write for me. I said, what will I write? I am not a good writer.
Mhm.
So he said, no, I am sure that you will be able to write. So then I tried writing, and he gave me an entire column in a newspaper. Obviously, it was in my mother tongue, Marathi.
Mhm.
So I wrote in 1999 to 2000. I wrote one entire 42 articles uh, column in the newspaper, and it was on modern art, the entire development of modern art, and nobody had written anything on modern art before that so seriously
Mhm.
in a newspaper. So it became like a, you know, uh, everyone whoever used to meet me used to always talk about what I write and all that. So it created a different approach in my entire approach of studying, how to study history of art, how to collect references, cross references, because history of art is not only art; it's about design, it is about architecture, it is about philosophy, it is about psychology. So how all these areas are actually allowing one sensitive or a creative person to you know come up with his own creation. And this series of articles gave me a lot of courage to even enter into the domain which I had never dreamed of earlier, because artists usually are scared to talk.
Yeah.
And this has been one of my experiences, even in the field, that whenever I meet somebody, when they are in person, when they're talking to you in person, they are expressive. But when at least 4 or 5 people are there in front of you, they will not be able to express themselves, or not even writing. They will not be able to write
Mhm.
uh, clearly. They will not be able to articulate clearly. And I realized that I have this knack of even writing after that incident. Then same thing happened when I started writing in English. One of my friends said that, you write for me. I'm presenting my work in the exhibition. Why don't you write one article on my work? So I said, I have never written in English. I speak English only because I have to deliver lectures. But he said, no, you can do it. You have done it in Marathi, so you will be able to do it in English.
Mhm.
So people have in my life, people have pushed me, and people have realized certain kind of a potential in me, and I have believed in them. See, uh, the one of the important things uh, in this kind of career pathway, those whoever wants to go into this career of creativity design,
Mhm.
one is important that you should be willing to take up expeditions, different kinds of explorations, and discover new things for yourself as an individual. Unless and until you discover new things for yourself, you are not going to be innovative. You're not going to be somebody who is unique, somebody who is different in his approach, because that's what the world is looking for. World looks at newness. World looks
Mhm.
at innovation, and that innovation is not possible unless and until you peep into your own mind and discover something new within yourself, and then connect it to the world outside. So when you have to do this, you have to take up challenges, and you have to listen to people what they are saying. If you don't listen to them, I think And this I have realized much later, that in life, that this has been my approach, and this approach is very vital, and I should teach. Even while teaching my students, I should also use this particular principle very much. And that's what happened. And then I started writing in English as well.
Mhm.
So I wrote several articles for different artists, and one of the senior artists called Mr. Wankhede,
Mhm.
he also called me to write, and that was a great honor that he had that faith in me, and that article is published, and you can find it on internet. It's about how this artist uses fabric. So he uses fabric, and he pastes fabric on a piece of canvas, and he never applies any paint on canvas. So all his work is created out of fabrics which he pastes on canvas. So how it was indirectly connected with the uh, area which I'm into, fashion, and fashion's material is fabric. So that gave me a very different kind of insight. And he was also very much spiritually inclined. So how the spirituality connects with his idiom, and how that also is one of the important areas of fiber art. So fiber art is considered closer to design and fashion,
Okay.
that way, so the textiles and fashion. So
Mhm.
I have always discovered things in relationships, in different mediums, different areas, which come together and create a single thread in at least in your perception. You understand a certain kind of a connection in between multiple things which are around you, and finding those newer connections, I think, is the key of design. Unless and until you find new, you will not be able to create something interesting. And if you have really connected it in a very new way, even the person who is looking at it, your audience also will be able to connect with you. It's possible that everyone will not be able to connect with you, but at least some group of people will be able to connect with you. And then that's how you build over it. Then you talk to them, what do they feel about this work, and then that's how you should take it further in your journey. So the way this writing happened in my life, poetry also happened in my life, because poetry was another area which I uh, entered in JJ School of Art. One
Mhm.
day, it's a very interesting story that one day Prabhakar Kolte sir, he came in the class, and I thought, we thought, he's going to give us normal, some exercise of drawing and all that, which we used to do usually, or some design or something like that. But he said, no, today you write poetry. We all were stunned. The entire class was stunned. And some of them also asked him question, how can we write poetry? We are visual artists. How can we write poetry? So he also gave some answer to it. And he said, no, 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 you should write. He
Mhm.
insisted on that. So everyone was writing something, something, something. I was puzzled. What will I write? Because before this, I have never written anything like a poetry, like given it a thought.
Mhm.
And then I started realizing that what is this situation which is happening with me? Am I realizing this? So I started observing myself in that situation, what was happening and what kind of thoughts were coming in my mind. Literally, when you can't achieve anything, your heart starts beating, your entire body starts resonating, and you start out of that scaredness, your entire body starts resonating. And then after that subsides, your thinking starts, so many thoughts starts popping in. And I said, this is it, I have to concentrate on this particular experience.
Mhm.
And I wrote that poem, which I wrote was on the experience. So my poem started that teacher came in the class,
Mhm.
he gave us this exercise to do, and what happened after that. My poem was based on that incidence itself.
Okay.
And then I got a great key of creativity,
Mhm.
which I keep using in my various, discourses. That don't search something outside you.
Mhm.
When you search something outside you, you feel as if there is nothing within you, and everything is outside you. The world is, wise, and you
Mhm.
yourself don't have anything within you. So basically, concentrate on your own experience, your own self. And that poem was really appreciated by my teacher also. It is obviously in Marathi poem, so
Mhm.
one can translate and one can. But that the content of poem is not important. What I mean to say is that poem can be created out of observing oneself. And even if certain kind of situations in which we are, usually we are tense
Mhm.
about something, or we are intensely happy about something, and we tend to lose out that moment because we just want to celebrate that moment and lose out that moment. But just stop for a while, look at that particular situation, and try to document that situation in any medium, whatever medium is coming across to you. It could be a paint, it could be a writing, it could be anything, it could be talking to somebody. So express that particular understanding about your own experience, and that's the key of any creative endeavor. Any creative design emerges out of that kind of dialogue, that kind of reflection. You reflect on what you have experienced in that particular moment. And I started writing, and once I just was talking to one of my friend who was a writer, and um, lit- he was himself a story writer.
Mhm.
So he said that he said, "This is fabulous. This is really something different. No one approaches poetry like this." And then my book also was published along with some eminent, not eminent, but the
Mhm.
upcoming poets. So there was
Okay.
a series of books which was published by Lokmangvai Gruha, one of the reputed uh, publishers in Marathi in Mumbai.
Mhm.
And then I was known as a poet, and today also I'm known as a poet. It's a parallel thing which happens. On Facebook, I have a page of poetry, and I whenever and it is like a therapeutic. My
Mhm.
poetry is like therapeutic. Sometimes when you are not feeling well about
Mhm.
something, uh, you tend to pass that moment, and you tend to watch a movie or listen to a music or something like that. But I don't pass that moment. I stay there.
Mhm.
I observe what is happening in my mind, and I just write it. So after writing it, I'm away from that.
It's like
I'm literally
yeah,
liberated from that particular situation.
it's like living the moment and then capturing. Like
Yes,
photographers have their own way to capture the
correct,
moment and then take the photograph and then show it
correct,
to the world. Like you already said that there will be a certain group of people who will be talking about that who can relate to that. So
related,
similarly, like in the beginning only, like I said, what kind of experience and what you have done in your life. Uh,
correct.
we can talk for entire day or a two or like week, and they will be search. Every
Yeah,
time we'll talk on a different topic, and there will be something different coming out, which
correct,
we can learn. Like uh, you just mentioned right now, it's
correct,
better that people to stay for a while and then capture within it. Okay. Uh,
correct. Just to
Similarly,
sum
like
it up, sum this up, basically the aspect of multidisciplinarity, that how does one has to explore multiple things in life. It's not necessary to master any one of it just for the but I had to master one in terms of my profession, which was teaching.
yeah.
But I have never believed that just pure teaching also can give me something, because in true sense, because one has to always navigate into multiple different areas to seek something, and you just travel between these different areas. And then I got this new term called interdisciplinary design, an interdisciplinary aspect of design. And I did some work also. I did some designing of certain courses, which were closer to this entire ideology. Design thinking, which is a new domain which has emerged, and the kind of areas which are the digital design and all that require a lot of understanding of multiple disciplines. And after this pandemic, the kind of needs which are emerging in the industry, that also we can see that such kind of interdisciplinary understanding. You may not be knowing the nitty-gritties of that particular discipline, but then you need to understand the related disciplines in its conceptual aspect. So, how do you relate anything conceptually? That became my journey, direction of my journey in the later period. Obviously, I joined as a full-time faculty in NIFT afterwards, from 2000 onwards. But I have never left these other areas and exploring into other new things, just to enrich every area, every task, or every part which I am doing. Because if you are just a poet, then you just remain poet, and you become dead in that poetry. If you are just a designer, you just keep doing that for your life, and you somewhere there is a stagnation, there is a certain level of, there's a block.
Yeah.
So don't stick to any one area. But for earning money, for your livelihood, you have to do something for your living. But even don't do that fully. You also should be parallelly working on something else. So everything becomes vital. There is a vitality in every aspect, whatever you are doing.
Like we are
That was my
having this,
life.
sorry to interrupt, but like we are having this concept of specialization. Like if you
Yes.
want to succeed in life, you have to master and specialize in one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And like I always say this to my team members also and my clients also,
Mm.
that we are
Mm.
specialized in this. Okay. So
Mm.
what is my way of explaining to them? Let's suppose you are
Mm.
having a headache. Okay. First, you
Correct.
will be going to a normal doctor. He will give you some medicines.
Mhm.
But if there is a severe problem, you will go to a doctor who is specialized in treating the brain, not the heart.
Correct. Correct.
So it's similar to like that only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But specialization is only required for your branding.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel, because mm, they will not believe in you otherwise. If you are not specialist, people will not believe in you. They
Mm-hmm.
will say, "Arey, you are master of all, jack of all, and master of none."
Yeah.
That kind of a situation comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
So, for that purpose, and another reality is that all of us are not like Leonardo da Vinci,
Mm-hmm.
who can really excel in every area. One has to be also realist and understand one's own capabilities in terms of certain skill sets, because certain skill sets will be there, where I will be really excellent, really very good. So my profession, or my main task, whatever I am expected to do, should be related to that particular skill set. So from that point of view, specialization is important. But you start realizing, the example you gave, that if you are having a problem with your brain, uh, so you go to a neurologist for that. But for that matter, there is another field of science, which is Ayurveda, says that the entire body is a singular whole, and basically there is a relationship in between different parts of your body also. So though it is important that only that particular part of the body has to be treated, but the reason might be there in some other part of the body. So there is always a systemic
Mm-hmm.
there is a systemic intervention which is required most of the times. And most of the elements which are simple elements, sometimes there is a headache and we try to take some tablet which is painkiller for that headache, but we realize that my stomach was upset. That's the reason why there was a headache. So unless and until we realize, and we need to go to that aspect, cover it. And today's industry is demanding this, because you cannot, and this digital world has made um, everything interdisciplinary, because we have to understand each and every area. doesn't matter if you're a master, if you're not a master of that particular area, but you need to understand the nuances
Mhm.
of multiple fields. Otherwise, you will not be able to, because whatever function you are expected to do is going to be multidisciplinary. It cannot be single disciplinary. That's what I feel,
Mhm.
because of this whole digital technology and the 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 rapid pace with which we are moving ahead, the
Mhm.
kind of fast production and the lead time which was earlier 1 year is getting reduced, that you have to do your ideation so fast that it should be relevant to the coming uh, future. You cannot make so late, because the future, the entire market is changing so rapidly, consumer
Mhm.
mindset is changing so rapidly. So because of these pressures, you also have to deliver on time. At the same time, whatever delivery you are making, what are those related aspects which are going to make your design more effective? Those related aspects needs to be understood very well by the design.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on this?
I think I'm a kind of a slow person in terms
Yeah,
of what I observe, because I'd like
yeah,
to take my time and then observe. So I'm not a fast person from my childhood
yeah,
only. Like
yeah,
my mom still says me कि बेटा
yeah.
हाथ जल्दी जल्दी चलाया कर तभी कुछ होगा. So I always say this, हाँ mom, I understand you, but
Mm,
observing things I take time. Whatever I'm doing, I need to understand what is the core value, what are the aspects,
correct,
and what will be the result. The result is like we have to follow a certain process, then only we'll be getting to the results. But what you said, that leap years getting shorter, people are moving
mm,
very fast, and it's like, let me give you an example. I was watching a movie, The Founder, where the McDonald's came in, and the person
mm,
was selling a milkshake, instant milkshake. But when he saw
okay,
the concept of the burger, and then
mm,
everything was instant. So at that time, I was like, yeah, people are moving so fast. They need everything within a minute.
correct.
Even one of my colleagues launched an app that you can set up your whole account in 30 seconds only. So this
Acha.
is how fast people are moving.
Yeah,
But I like to take my time and then decide what to do, so that whatever I'm doing, I'm more satisfied in that. So I
correct,
think there will be certain people who will be relating to this, that let's take some time and then think about it.
correct,
I'm not a fast person. I would like to
correct.
stay like this only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that aspect resonates with me also, because this entire conventional aspect of finding success, quick
Mhm.
success, like, and all that, that kind of approach, or planning for that success. I have
Mhm.
never understood this. That suppose tomorrow I have to deliver a lecture, uh, saying to a CEO of a company. I really can't plan for that. I really can't plan in terms of conventional sense, that you need to understand then his setup and this and that. I need to go into myself, and I need to give myself a time, saying that you be relaxed
Mhm.
rather than becoming tense. Be relaxed, and out of that relaxation, your mind is going to tell you what to do.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
activate your entire self in such a
Mhm.
way that, without having any kind of a superficial uh, learning, you collect the data. Definitely, you have to collect the data. You'll have to do some research. You have to do some understanding, but you cannot entirely rely on that understanding or that research
Correct. Correct.
unless and until that filters through you. You have to digest that, and everything you cannot digest. You can, after reading a book, maybe you will understand only one line. That only one line will be important to you as far as that entire book is concerned. So
Yeah.
you have to realize this. So the point is, I again and again want to make, is that this realization doesn't take place,
Mhm.
because our world is telling us, no, 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 you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to be that. Every time we keep seeing these self improvement videos and all those things. they always insist on certain things. No, these things cannot be achieved unless and until you realize those things
Correct,
yourself.
correct. Like you already have mentioned this. Like world is
Yeah,
within you. You have to
within
focus on
you.
yourself, not what is
Yes.
outside. And if you are concentrating and focusing on yourself,
Hmm.
taking time thinking about what to do and how to do,
Correct.
the world will automatically, or the universe will automatically give ways to you. Okay.
Correct.
Like you
So
started.
there is one small line of
Mhm.
Rabindranath Tagore. That actually he has written a poem on this. That in order to know what is there in the world, I moved the entire world. I traveled the entire world,
Mhm.
but I realized that the true realization is there within a small droplet of water, which is there on a leaf in my own backyard of my own garden. So the entire world was reflected in that small droplet of water. And in order to realize this, I had to travel the entire world.
Correct,
So this
correct.
is the mystery of humankind, that humans don't really realize this. And sometimes I also have realized it in my own thing, that sometimes we do a lot and then we realize that hey, there is no use of doing so much.
Mhm.
But human beings have to do so much to understand that little. That is our limitation, and that we have to accept as
Mhm.
human beings.
Correct.
So these and that's the reason I never consider any kind of a knowledge as external to me. I don't consider that. So because that knowledge is here, only thing I have to ignite it. And in order to ignite it, maybe I will have to look outside
Mhm.
and seek for myself. And even in professional domain also, I have realized those things are there. And when certain professionals ask me certain questions, that how what we should do about this brand, what we should do this, that, how we should consider our business to come go in future, what kind of suggestions you will give. I always start from myself, how I would look at that particular situation and how I will do something in it, rather than what they will do something,
Mhm.
yeah, rather than what you can come up with. And they are satisfied with the answer. I don't know how come they are satisfied. I have no experience of industry in that hardcore industry in that sense. But I keep meeting people from different walks of life, and
Mhm.
that is the second lesson which I have learned, that go out of your comfort zone. Suppose you like a certain kind of a movie, don't watch always that kind of a genre. Watch another genre,
Mhm.
and sometimes you understand something new out of that different thing which you usually don't like. Meet and talk some people who are not. It is not likelihood that you'll be able to talk to them. Doesn't matter. Sometimes you just talk to anybody randomly. Suppose this happens in the conferences,
Mhm.
that we keep searching for like-minded face, and then we go and talk to that like-minded face. That is very subconscious thing which happens. But sometimes talk to a new face which you feel as if you will not be able to interact with that fellow, and sometimes you can understand such a vital thing from that other fellow, because you have come out of your comfort zone.
Mhm.
uh, and that actually makes certain things very very unique, and certain understanding, and you might have had certain understanding similar to that from some other field or from some other person, and that links and that relates. So the another point is how you can connect those dots. So
Correct,
there are
correct.
different dots, and how you connect those dots, and a configuration is that design. So
Mhm.
design is not there in the product. Design is there in your concept. How do you really realize a certain kind of a concept? And that concept is out of connection of multiple, you know, points or multiple
Multiple
dots
dots. Yeah, I
coming
also follow
together.
this. Um,
Correct.
uh, I also follow this concept of connecting dots. We were talking about the artists are being more kind of conservative. Okay, they are
Correct.
not open. If we are talking in person, they will be very frank. They will talk. They will be very expressive. But if we are if the artist or the designer is an introvert, okay,
Hmm.
I think introvert is the perfect word for them. If they are in a group, so they will be like, okay, I don't want to talk. Let me be
Uh,
in my own world
uh,
or my own zone. So we have to break this barrier. We have to move
break
from a, yeah, from a comfort zone.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there is a way in which you can also do this, and because I'm in the profession of education, and
Mm-hmm.
day every day I interact with young generation. Um, it becomes like a task they will ask you, because they will ask you remedy. They will ask you method in which you can do that, though
Mm-hmm.
method is not the right thing in teaching. I don't believe in method, but one has to give method, because otherwise they will feel you don't know anything. So you create certain methodology to counter this,
Mm-hmm.
and all those and so that is another area domain of mine, to create
Mm-hmm.
multiple creative methodologies to realize things rather than to do things. Because in order to do things there are so many methodologies, because everything was driven by technology.
Mm-hmm.
Our entire life of today was driven by technology, because of
Mm-hmm.
the industrial revolution. The kind of things were created, the entire life was technology driven.
Mm-hmm.
And we are facing the problems of today, the sustainability issue, which is coming very majorly because of the kind of problems we have created. They are also due to that kind of technological mindset which we adopted very blindly. So one has to really realize this fact, and do something first to know certain things, or to realize certain things, and use methodology to realize things rather than to do things, because ultimately we are focusing so much on the final product or the final outcome of anything. Sometimes there will not be any outcome, but there will be certain realization which may give you outcome in the later stage. So
Mm-hmm.
at least you can afford to do this in education. You might not afford to do this in industry because you have to deliver there, and there is a deadline, and there is a demand. But within education we can do that, because we are nurturing creative
Mm-hmm.
minds, and they are going to be tomorrow's designers or
Mm-hmm.
design researchers or professionals. I can afford to do that. So I that is another domain which needs to be addressed, which is
Mm-hmm.
creating method to realize things. you know, and that's where the innovative teaching methodology comes into play. And today, digital technology is also supporting to do that
Mm-hmm.
very effectively.
Yeah.
That is another domain which has emerged out of my this entire practice, and
From from
simple things
artist.
to how to see things. How to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, from artist to poet to writer,
Yes. Yes.
from
Yeah.
yeah. So you have like multidisciplinary discovery, exploration. These are the perfect words for you.
Yes.
Yeah, and like
Yes.
what is the most enjoyable field that you have encountered and you have lived in? Like you have been a poet, you have been a writer, you have been an artist. Okay, as the people were around you, they pushed you. Now you are in the fashion technology. So what is the most enjoyable field for you?
Yeah. So basically, why I there was another reason why I when since you asked this
Mm-hmm.
particularly fashion technology. Basically, this field of fashion, I felt like remaining here. The reason was that fashion is such a versatile field today, and though it is a discipline, it has its own discipline, but it consists of multidiscipline. Unless and until, because fashion, one has to understand, fashion doesn't mean clothes or garments alone.
Correct.
That's one of the important thing which I realized, that fashion doesn't mean clothes. Fashion means lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And when you say lifestyle, or when you say, uh, I would like to even remove that word style. I would like to just say now life. After pandemic, now the life is becoming more important than style,
Correct.
because you know, only on this one small screen, my entire life is getting displayed on this small screen. And my entire profession, everything is happening. My family gatherings are also happening on this small screen. So what all those other things are going to do? So life, how fashion deals with life and your behavior. And in order to behave in certain way, sometimes just to show to the world, or sometimes to be, I feel better when I, have these things in my life, and then I buy these things from different brands or different sources. So how you're actually creating something for the life. And that aspect I found very pertinently in fashion field rather than any other field which I was into earlier. And that's how I remained here. And the most important, the other question which you asked about, which is that, after going through many fields like that, which is that one thing which attracts me. Basically, there is nothing particularly, but one thing is for sure that I like to interact with people in their presence, in the sense that the interaction should happen in person. And in person today, also virtually is also in person. I'm not saying that it has to be there in front of the person, has to be there in front of you, but certain kind of communication, certain kind of connection, when you establish, I think discovery happens out of that connection. And that's it. I feel that and that's the reason why there's a different kind of connection happens in poetry, different kind of connection happen in visual arts, different kind of connection happens in when you're writing, different kind of connection happens when you're teaching. So out of these, I think teaching or delivering a lecture or instructing somebody to do something or just communicating with them, I think binds everything together. So dialogue, establishing a certain kind of a dialogue with the world around you, I think that's the key. And I would like to remain there because I think that dialogue transforms. And it's not only that I am transforming somebody, it is I am also getting transformed out of that dialogue. So always I say that teaching is not about teaching. It's about learning. So how much I am learning while I am conversing with you. So I have to have a certain kind of a topic to converse. So I have that subject given to me. But out of that subject, I am actually trying to connect with the other person and trying to understand how that person is understanding this particular idea. So when that kind of conversation happens, true bliss, is created. And I think I'm striving for that bliss rather than anything else. And you're using medium, you're using writing as a medium, you're using visual as a medium, these are all mediums. So these are actually not fields, these are just mediums. And the true job is to transform a certain understanding. And when that understanding will get transformed, the physical things also will transform. It's bound to happen like that.
Correct.
And what we have been doing till now is that we deliberately wanted to change the physical things. And we realized and we used to feel as if when we transform the physical things, we will be able to transform ourselves. No, that possibility is not, and that materiality is not working. We have realized today